Hello everyone, Namaskar. We all know physics is an exact science which gives accurate knowledge of the nature and natural phenomena. Many times the natural phenomena are described and expressed in terms of a physical relationship, and this physical relationship between the different quantities involved in the natural phenomena is the expression. So to describe it fully, we always need the accuracy, precision in measurement. Then, how do we come across the precise measurement? How do we get the accurate measurement? This part we are going to study in this chapter called units and measurement. Before that, let us come back to understand what is a physical quantity. When we talk about a physical phenomena which is occurring, we come across different physical quantities, different terms in it. For example, electric current, length, mass, distance, displacement, speed, velocity, acceleration, angular momentum, angular velocity, moment of inertia, and so on. So to describe this part, to describe these things, we will always need a particular measurement, a precise and accurate measurement. So basically we will start with the physical quantity here, and then we will study the dimensional analysis. So what is a physical quantity? A physical quantity is anything that can be measured directly or indirectly. For example, to measure the temperature, we can use a thermometer. The reading in thermometer can give us the actual temperature of the body. To measure the distance covered, if the object is moving from one point to the other point, we can measure this distance by using a proper scale. So this is the direct method of measuring, direct method of measurement. But if one want to know the distance between the earth and the moon, the earth and the sun, the earth and other planets, as well as the sun and other planets say. So in that case, we cannot go directly there to measure the distance, and the scale that we will use, they will be inappropriate to measure such distance. In that case, we use an indirect method. So this indirect methods are different. In earlier classes, you had used the trigonometry to find the height of a tower. In this class, you will study to measure the distance between the earth and the moon, say the earth and the sun, the earth and a distant star. So all these they can be taken in physical quantities. There are basically two types of physical quantities in some books. They are given three also. We will take three. The physical quantity can be in the form of a ratio. In that case, it will be a number without unit. A physical quantity can be in the form of a ratio, a number without unit. Let me give you an example. In earlier classes, we had studied the refractive index of a substance can be given in the form of speed of light in vacuum to the speed of light in the given medium. So this is a ratio. Velocity of light in vacuum C is equals to 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. Meter per second is the unit of velocity, and the velocity in the given medium, it will also come in the form of meter per second. So meter per second and meter per second will get cancelled out, and you will get a number without unit. In this way, the ratios are there in physics. Second is that physical quantity can be taken in the form of a fundamental quantity. Now, what is a fundamental quantity? In a system of units, some quantities, they are taken as the base. To express them, to describe them, we do not need to depend on the other quantities. Such quantities are called as fundamental quantities. Let me explain it once again. Those quantities which do not depend on other quantities for their full description are called as fundamental quantities. There are different system of units like CGS unit system, centimeter gram second, MKS, meter kilogram second, or this is also called as SI unit system, system of international system of units. We generally stick with this system of units to express our measurements. This is called as a standard system of units. In all books you will find the physical quantities, they are expressed in SI unit system or MKS. Earlier there was a system, and still it is followed some in some countries. This is called as FPS system of units, feet, pound, second. Now if you will look at these, you will come across, in this we have taken centimeter, meter and feet, gram, kilogram, pound, second and second. So clearly uh, these system of units, they had taken three quantities as the base. This is centimeter for length, gram for mass, and second for time second. In SI system, unit system, we have seven fundamental quantities. Seven fundamental quantities are there in SI system, plus two are quantities supplementary quantities. Let me write these seven fundamental quantities which are generally taken in SI unit system, so that the next part you will understand better. So let us start with length, mass, time, electric current, temperature, then luminous intensity, luminous intensity, amount of substance, substance. These are the 7 fundamental quantities which are generally used as a base quantities in SI unit system. We do have symbols and their units. Symbol for length is taken as L. For mass, we generally take M. For time interval T, we take small t, and for time period, we take capital T. For electric current, symbol is I. For temperature, you can take theta or T. For luminous intensity, we generally take it as I, L, and amount of substance, it is generally expressed in the same. So we will take it as it is. The units for individual quantity can also be taken. For length in SI unit system, we will use meter. For mass, we will use kilogram. For time, we will use second. For electric current, we will use ampere. For temperature, we will use Kelvin. Luminous intensity, it is used as candela. And amount of substance, as you all know, it is expressed in moles. In addition to these 7 fundamental quantities, we have 2 supplementary quantities also. One is called plane angle and the other one is called solid angle. Both are generally expressed in terms of theta, and you can take for solid angle alpha. For this, unit is radian, and for solid angle it is steradian. Let me write it clearly, steradian. Now, in these fundamental quantities, as we have started from physical quantities, there are of 2 types till now. Fundamental quantities are those quantities which do not depend on other quantities for their full description. Those units which are merged, which represent the fundamental quantities, they will be called as fundamental units, and these are the fundamental units for SI unit system. Next, we have the third type of physical quantity is derived quantities. The third type of physical quantity is derived quantity, and as the name suggests, they are derived from something. They are obtained from something. So, these quantities are called as derived quantities. Let us define those physical quantities which depend on some fundamental quantities for their full description are called as derived quantities. For example, if I write speed, speed is total distance upon total time. Clearly, speed is dependent on distance, means it is dependent on length, and it is also dependent on time. Both are the fundamental quantities. Speed, velocity, acceleration, change in velocity, I write it as delta v upon delta t, that is length upon time. So this will come as acceleration is dependent on length as well as on time. So these are the 3 types of system, 3 types of physical quantities that we had studied. Also, those units which are representing derived quantities, they will be called as the derived units. In earlier case, we had called the fundamental units or base units. Those units which depend on fundamental units will be called as the derived units. So we will come across one after the other. Now let us study what are dimensions and what is the dimensional analysis. So for that, let us represent these quantities in dimensions first. So basically, what are the dimensions? In a given system of units, some quantities are taken as the base quantities, and depending upon these quantities, other quantities are derived. So, the fundamental quantities can be taken as the dimensions in a given system of units. For example, there are 7 dimensions in the world, and taken in SI units. So, for length, I am not writing the entire thing. For length, generally dimensions are represented as in capital. So, we will write that dimensions of length will be represented with these square brackets, and in this case you can find out the dimensions of L are represented as capital L. Also, dimensions of mass are written as kilogram. Mass, this will be written as capital M. Unit of mass is kilogram and it will be represented with capital M. Dimensions of time will be written as capital T. Then dimensions of electric current I is expressed as capital A for ampere. Dimensions of temperature is written in the square braces. It will be represented in Kelvin K. Also, the luminous intensity and amount of substance. Luminous intensity, it will be written as CD. We will take as it is, and amount of substance, it will be written as mole. So you will just need to take care of these fundamental quantities basically. In very rare case, luminous intensity and the amount of substance will come, but we can take it into consideration. Now, these are the 7 dimensions which we will use frequently. Let us obtain the dimensions for derived quantities now from these. So first of all, dimensions of derived quantities we are going to study. So first of all, let us start with distance. What will be the dimensions of distance? Distance is a length. No matter you are measuring it from left side or you are measuring it from right side, we will have dimensions of distance L. Remember, when we are writing this L, it represents L to the power 1. L to the power 1, L to the power 1. t to the power 1, a to the power 1 like this. So distance will have dimensions of L, time, dimensions of time will be written as capital T. Now you will say, sir, we have started from dimensions of derived quantities and these two quantities, they are the fundamental ones. But since these are the essential ones, that's why I am taking it first. Now, our first quantity, which is derived quantity, is speed. If I want to write the dimensions of speed, then I will write it in the form of dimensions of speed is equal to, the formula is distance upon time, so we can just take it as dimensions of distance upon dimensions of time. So clearly dimensions of speed are going to come as L upon T, or dimensions of V are generally written as L T minus 1. Now if I want to write the dimensions of velocity, dimensions of velocity, clearly they will also come same, because dimensions of velocity will be the dimensions of displacement upon dimensions of time, and again we are going to get L T minus 1. Clearly the dimensions of speed and velocity are same. Although the physical quantities are different, speed is different than velocity. You had studied the difference of speed and velocity in earlier classes. In this class also you are going to study it thoroughly. Still, although both the quantities are different, the dimensions of both quantities are same. Now let us come back to another derived quantity, which is an important one. Say acceleration. Dimensions of acceleration. If I want to write dimensions of acceleration, will be dimensions of delta V upon dimensions of delta T. That is dimensions of V upon dimensions of T. This will be written as, in square basis, we will have dimensions of V is equal to L T minus 1, as we had written here, divided by dimensions of time will be T. Clearly acceleration will have dimensions as L T minus 2. Please remember these quantities. Although they are derived one, the dimensions of these quantities are a bit important for us, so we will come across all these things. Since we know dimensions of A and dimensions of mass, we can readily calculate dimensions of force now, which is another quantity in the derived form. So let me take it. Dimensions of force. Dimensions of force will be equal to dimensions of mass multiplied by dimensions of acceleration. This is the basic formula we have taken from Newton's second law, F equals to m into A. So clearly dimensions of F is equal to dimensions of mass, I am writing it directly, capital M, into dimensions of acceleration, just now we have written Lt minus 2. So dimensions of force are mlt minus 2. Dimensions of force are mlt minus 2. dimensions of force are ml t minus 2. You repeat it twice, thrice, 4 times so that this will be in your mind at any time. If someone asks you, you should come across the dimensions of force are ml t minus 2. Why? Because force is a very important quantity in physics. Now, as we know, the dimensions of force are ml t minus 2. What exactly this equation tells us? It tells us that the force is that derived quantity in which we require mass, we require length, and we require time. These three quantities, three fundamental quantities are required to express force fully. Then what are the powers of these fundamental quantities required? Clearly, in force, dimensions of mass are one same. Mass, only one power is there. Dimensions of length is one, and dimensions of t will come as -2. So force requires mass, length and time, and their powers are 1, 1, -2. In this way, since we know force now, we can readily find dimensions of pressure. By formula, dimension force, the pressure is equal to force upon area is there. Let me write the dimensions of force separately. F is equals to ml t minus 2. We will always need to give the square bracket, otherwise the equation will not have any importance. So dimensions of force are ml t minus 2 and dimensions of area. Area, length into length or radius square pi r square. So in that case, again length into length, that means area will have power of length 2. So writing this in pressure, dimensions of pressure are equal to m l t minus 2. I take this is the dimensions for force, and this l to the power 2 will go in numerator, so I take it as l to the power minus 2. Clearly, dimensions of pressure are m1, l minus 1 and t minus 2. So this was the introductory part of dimensions. Dimensional analysis is still remaining because we will apply the dimensional analysis in different situations to check the correctness of equation, to derive the relation between physical quantities and so on. So first of all, take this part. Now I am giving you as a task that you obtain dimensions of any 30 derived quantities in your notebook. This is a question for you. You can consider it as a task, you can consider it as the homework. There are infinite quantities that we come across in physics. So many quantities. First of all, write down the 30 quantities which are derived ones. Like just now we have taken, I'll give you an idea. For distance, it is L. So distance, displacement, velocity, speed, acceleration, then angular momentum, angular velocity, then force, work done, power, then angular velocity, angular momentum, and some other quantities like torque, gravitational force. All forces will have same dimensions. So basically, take this as a task. Write down the 30 physical quantities. They are given in your textbook at the last. First of all, write down those quantities, then write their formula or write their unit. From there also you will get the idea how to write the dimensions of a given physical quantity. This was dimensions of different quantities. In our next video, we will study the application of dimensional analysis. Before that, just try to revise all the things which we had done. What are the physical quantities? What are its types? What were the dimensions and all? Once you understood this concept, you will be able to write the dimensions of any physical quantity given to you. So, once again, next time we will study the applications of dimensional analysis. Thank you.